Hello everyone, welcome to sunny Nottingham Hockey Centre. It's a lovely but cold day here for Premier Division hockey. Beeston versus Brooklands Manchester University. Pushback is at 2 o'clock today. Before then, we'll keep you bang up to date with the comings and goings in the women's and men's Premier Division, and of course what's live around the country as well. We'll also be having a look back at some of last week's action, and also we'll be looking at an exciting project that Beeston has been part of. But before we do that, we'll introduce us to you. I'm the hot seat, I'm Andy Day. Sitting next to me is Steve Musson. How are you doing, Steve?
Fine, thank you very much. Good afternoon, Andy.
Exciting week, I hear, but we'll crop it.
Yes, we'll cover that later.
Also, further down to the warm welcome to Gareth Griffiths. How are you doing?
Not too bad, Andy. How are you?
I'm not too bad at all. And just tell everyone the reason why you're in the chapel today rather than out on the field.
Yeah, something a little bit different. So against Exeter a couple of weeks ago, I broke my finger during the game, so it's ruled me out for about 6 weeks.
So yeah, that's the reason why you're in here in the warm rather than out there in the cold today. As I mentioned, it's a very exciting project which is part of the Beeston makeup here. It's been connected with local education as well, and it's to, well, Steve, I know you've been involved with it better than me, so that...
Yeah, it's obviously the stick project, the Erasmus, part of the Erasmus project. It's a way in which the interests of players, both academically and from a sporting point of view, can be guarded and looked after properly, really. And it's something that we've been interested in for a long time, because you get players who move naturally for academic reasons, but you want to see them be able to maintain their sporting career at the highest level without the concerns that would be there if they were left to their own devices. So it's a very good mentoring system.
And the key part of that is to keep the players in their national setup as well. There was a key phrase.
It is. The talent drain, I think, is the phrase, really, looking at how players can be lost, certainly to the United States, and athletes across all sports in many ways need to feel comfortable about that transfer.
So with that in mind, we'll head over to a fantastic video which will explain in more detail about the stick project.
Every day of the week I'm playing hockey. I'm playing for the NTU Hockey Club and also for Beeston Hockey Club. So it's like all the time playing hockey. It's what I enjoy most in this life. Erasmus project, it's like for all the students on the European Union to go to study abroad. Here I'm studying food science and technology. It's the same degree that I am studying there in Spain.
So the STIC project, the students who are studying at university or in higher education at the minute, the challenges are difficult enough if you're balancing your studies, but add on top of that if you're a high-performing athlete, especially one who's playing in the Premier Division of their sport. What the STIC project is there to do is to build into the Erasmus framework a way to make it easier for them to study and balance their sporting careers as well.
It's probably twofold. With my head of hockey hat on, it's an opportunity for us to attract some of the best hockey players from around Europe, coupled with the fact that we've an excellent university from an academic perspective. It just seemed natural that we could bring those two together. From a sporting perspective, his knowledge and expertise is second to none. He's represented Spain. He plays with Athletic Terrassa, one of the top clubs in Europe. Both his take on tactics, his team culture, all of a sudden is providing our students with an opportunity to learn from him, and also hopefully in return expand his knowledge. I think it goes a lot further than just on a hockey pitch.
I have learned English because from the first day I don't wanted to communicate with the others because I was so shy. But now it's like I'm not that fluent in English, but it's like it's more easy for me to speak English. I have learned to grow as a person and also mature. It's like I'm living alone. I have to do all the things for myself.
In the past, a lot of high-performing hockey players wouldn't leave their home club, whether that be in Amsterdam or Barcelona or Nottingham, because they were probably afraid that the place they would go to wouldn't be able to meet their needs from a sporting perspective. And I think the STIC project is trying to show that if we can ensure that the student is comfortable moving to either a similar or higher level environment from a sporting viewpoint, and also maintain their high level of academics, then actually there's more chance of people engaging in the Erasmus programme.
Working with Oriel, we've seen that it's possible for a student who's trying to balance their studies in one country, moving over to another, but also at the same time manage to balance their sporting careers as well. And we know that on completion of the pilot project that we have made it possible for any number of these students who need to balance this same dilemma to be able to move between countries, to have the same exchange program experience which is normally part of the Erasmus program. The challenge has been over the course of the project, how do you marry up the differences between the universities, their courses and their hockey clubs, and how do you almost adopt a common framework for them to be involved with each other. That's taken a long time, but that's what we've learned. We've learned how to turn a complex problem like this and actually put it into something which is going to work for our members.
And I will recommend them to come here in the United Kingdom. I will tell them to not be afraid about the language or about being alone or something like that, because everyone here is so open, everyone here is so friendly. I'm enjoying my stay here a lot. And I will be so sad when I will have to leave.
Fantastic video there explaining more about the stick project. Let's get to the action and looking at today's women's game live. They're into almost the end of the fourth quarter there. Birmingham University 1, East Grinstead 3 is a latest score. Second game of the weekend for East Grinstead. Looking at yesterday's results for the women, it finished Surbiton 1, Birmingham University 1, Clifton Robertsons 1, East Grinstead 2, Hampstead Westminster 3, Loughborough 0. And the game between Bowden and Beeston was postponed due to a frozen pitch, and the game Holcombe versus Buckingham, that was abandoned at 1-1. I understand that was due to a slippy surface.
I think so. I think that's what had happened. I haven't heard anything different. The fact that it just got colder and colder, and it was just too dangerous to run around on the surface. So that's probably why.
Quick look at the table then. Surbiton still leading their way, dropping their first points of the season in that draw against University of Birmingham. Hampstead and Westminster sitting in second place with 25. Beeston in 8th place with 9 points, and of course a game in hand over the teams immediately below them in the table. Looking at the men's Premier Division, and these are today's matches: Exeter University versus East Grinstead, Holcombe versus Surbiton, and of course Beeston versus Brooklands Manchester University. A look at the table will tell us that Brooklands Manchester University are in 8th place with 9 points on the board. Beeston currently sitting in 6th place on 11. I think looking more up the table than down the table at the moment, but 3 points today would be very welcome indeed. They did gain 3 points last weekend on the road on their trip to East Grinstead. Shall we see how things went on at their trip to East Grinstead last week? A victory for the Bees on the road.
Took a narrow victory over East Grinstead in their meeting earlier on in the season, and another win would see them leapfrog their hosts and move up to 11 points. East Grinstead, meanwhile, would need a win to keep their slender playoff hopes alive.
On that right-hand side go East Grinstead, and a chance here is Ansell picks up. Ansell running from right to left and just skews it past that right-hand post. Proctor to the left, Dixon to the right. It goes to Alan Dixon. Alan Dixon scores on his 300th appearance for Beeston. The skipper is on the score sheet. East Grinstead 0, Beeston 1. Proctor and Dixon again at the top of the circle, and it goes to Dixon. Lovely skill from Dixon, still there for Dixon. To Proctor, good save from Smith. Proctor on the reverse, another good save. Chance comes in, back off the post from Marshall and cleared by Faulkner. The left-hand side will go East Grinstead. The ball is played forward by Faulkner. And the chance here now for Farmer. Farmer into the circle. Farmer does well. Finds Piper. Piper scores! And East Grinstead are back on level terms 13 minutes in. East Grinstead 1, Beeston 1. Beeston on the front foot, laid down into that left-hand side. And coming to pick it up is Barton. Has Blood with him. And David Faulkner, but still going. Good work from Barton across the face. A goal shot comes in. They've hit the post again. This time by Sharp. Puck picks up the rebound the second time of asking. Makes it East Grinstead 1, Beeston 2. Griffiths to the left. Simon Faulkner to the right. It goes to Griffiths. Griffiths and Gleeson edges it behind for a long corner. Blood has a little look up. Still going. To the left-hand side. Now can they find the cross? Ooh. Yes, they can. Where's this going to fall to? It's going to fall to Griffiths. Griffiths on the reverse stick. And he's put it over the bar. Dixon now on the left-hand side. Richard Lawrence on the right. Who's going to pick this one up? It's going to be Dixon. Dixon keeps it low, and Dixon gets his second. And it's East Grinstead 1, Beeston 3 now. The skipper on the score sheet for a second time. Griffiths to the right, Faulkner to the left. And again, Gleeson denies Chris Griffiths. Here's Willers. Dixon. Back to Willars again. Willars. Oh, what a ball that is to Proctor. Proctor on the reverse stick. Proctor on the reverse stick finds the far corner. And it's 4-1 now, Beeston, in the 41st minute. Free hit down that bottom corner. Another free hit for Beeston. Oh, it's been quickly taken by Park. Park into the circle, still going Park. And an opportunity for a fifth. And it's been taken by Chris Proctor. East Grinstead 1, Beeston 5. It's 5 goals in consecutive weekends. Well, East Grinstead are going to take the loss here. Beeston winning it by 5 goals to 1.
2 wins in a row for the Bees on the road and 2 wins with 5 goals in the bank. So Beeston on a decent run of form. Let's look at today's team, shall we? Starting firstly with Beeston. The players with an X by them. They're going to be starting the game. So Simon Hudgman is the goalkeeper. Ollie Willars at 4. Kyle Marshall 5. Robbie Gleeson 6. Joe Sharp 8. Nick Park 10. Alex Blunfield 12, captain Adam Dixon, who made his 300th appearance in that victory over East Grinstead. Stephen Lawrence is at 16, James Hunt 24 and Elliot Barton 26. Everyone else named will be starting on the bench but will feature during the game. Today's visitors, Brooklands Manchester University. Robert Turner starts in goal as he has done all season. Dan Vincent at 3, Tom Lush is 4, 7 James Sutcliffe, 9 Aidan Cares, 10 Stephen Ray Hills, 11 David Flanagan, 12 Richard Slater, 13 Eddie Way, captain is 16 Peter Flanagan and 19 Leo Watton. So those are your matchday 16s, but I'm just making a quick eye line with that. I think there's one fewer player named for Brooklands Manchester University than Beeston, but we'll get confirmation on that in a few moments' time. Steve Musson, what do you think?
Yeah, 3 former Bees in there for the for Brooklands. So Leo Watton, James Sutcliffe and Aidan Cares. So they always have something to prove when they come back here, and these are always tight games. The 2 northern clubs playing against each other, and the players know each other very well. So there's always a keen rivalry goes on, and the games are hard fought every single time.
Okay, it's time to welcome the teams. So this is where I change hats and shout into the microphone for a bit.
Beeston Hockey Club. When you hear the area track line, you and your family must take cover. Joined by today's match umpires, Andy Higgins and Paul Walker. Representing Beeston, number 1, sponsored by Wakefield Trade Windows Limited, Simon Hudgman. Number 4, sponsored by Air IT, Ollie Willars. 5, sponsored by BestPartiesEver.com, Kyle Marshall. 6, sponsored by Trent College, Robbie Gleeson. 8, sponsored by Repton School, Joe Sharp. At 10, sponsored by Beehive Hockey Shop, Nick Park. 11, sponsored by Daybrook Services Limited, Henry Croft. At 12, Alex Blunfield. 14, sponsored by Riley Wealth Management, captain Adam Dixon. 17, sponsored by Lawrence Trucks and Machinery, Richard Lawrence. 18, Toby Stanley. 19, Lucas Ward. 21, sponsored by Office Innovations, Chris Proctor. And 23, Matthew Crookshanks. Representing Brooklands. In goal, Robert Turner. 2, Craig Getty. 3, Dan Vincent. 4, Tom Rush. 5, Russell Anderson. 8, Thomas Russell. 7, James Sutcliffe. 9, Aidan Cares. 10, Stephen Ray Hills. 11, David Flanagan. 12, Richard Slater. 13, Eddie Way. 15, Patrick Warren. 16, Captain Peter Flanagan. 17, William Batavese, and 19, Leo Watton. Those are your teams. Come on, you Bees!
So we are set and ready to go. Beeston have the ball and will get us underway. Beeston in the dark shirts, Brooklands in the white shirts. Steve Musson, what are we expecting today?
Well, I think that Beeston's recent run of form, they'll want to continue that, and a lot of that has come from the fact that they've been playing quick, progressive hockey, and they've settled with the squad and the team in the last few weeks, which has helped. Brooklands' task will be to try and stop that in the early phases, and they'll then revert to type, and they'll use some of their skillful players to try and take the Beeston midfield on particularly. So it'll be an interesting battle either way around.
A warm welcome wherever you're watching around the world today. Do let us know where you're watching from and where you're watching from, particularly if you're in a warm place, and we'll try and read a few of those out as we're going along. Beeston playing towards the road and boulevard end of the field, defending the car park. Brooklands attacking the car park and defending the boulevard end. Beeston starting relatively brightly, pushing down the right-hand side, but it's still very early days. Game still starting to settle down.
I think it works well for Beeston when Adam Dixon's around, because it allows Robbie Gleeson to play from right half, and he's very useful on the right-hand side at getting forward with his pace. So when Adam's around in the centre midfield, that allows Robbie to play a slightly different role.
Free hit taken a little bit too quickly there, turned over straight away, which has put Brooklands in a good position down the right-hand side. Moving towards the baseline, flicked across, but out of play. Quickly from midfield into attack Brooklands, and that's, I think, where the danger lies for them today.
Yeah, I think obviously from Beeston's point of view, they'll be pleased with their goals against tally, which is the third best in the league. So that's a huge bonus for them and helped with their goal difference. From Brooklands' point of view, they'll be wanting to get their goals scored up a little bit, really, so they'll be pushing very hard today, because that's their way to get their points, is to absolutely find that D as often as possible.
Indeed, a couple of heavy results against Brooklands this season so far, but I think they've steadied the ship since then. Yeah,
they're a very resilient club. I have a lot of respect for Brooklands, because they have the worst travelling to do each season. They travel absolutely miles to their away games. Difficult recruiting players, but they've been solid every time for the last 3 or 4 seasons, and preserve their status in the Premier League, and they just fight very, very hard indeed, so they don't get put off by those heavy losses.
Free hit for Beeston, getting us going again, going backwards to come forwards. Switching the side, Kyle Marshall here, number 5, shields the ball and tries a diagonal pass, which goes all the way through, and it's going to be a defensive hit for the visitors.
Bit of a slow lead back from Elliot Barton there on the left. I think he could have probably got in front of his defender, created a little bit more trouble, but it's gone back to Brooklands.
Aerial ball out of defence, bounces, and that's gone a long way. That's been so close to being a nice pass, but I think a swing and a miss there.
Well,
maybe the sunlight didn't help there.
Yeah, we've talked before about the use of the aerial. It needs to be part of the build-up play. It's just thrown into a bit of open space there, but fairly easy for Beeston to track that. I like to see aerials thrown a little bit more purposefully from player to player.
Nice take and run into space. Good shielding and maintaining possession, Beeston. And that's a good forward ball, and that's been taken nicely into the circle and just nudged out. I think that was number 10, Nick Park, who was in a good position there.
And credit to Richard Lawrence there for picking that up. Most important that when your build-up play is happening quickly, that player, when it's fed into him, even if it's a little bit tricky to receive, they work hard at that point to make sure they retain possession. Ended up with a penetration into the D there and didn't quite come off, but that's what you need to happen early in the game.
Good pressure in attack from Beeston, trying to stop Brooklands from coming out, but the return is good actually. Brooklands have done well to make it to halfway under a lot of pressure. Ball's gone out of play though, and it will be the visitors who will get us underway again. Aerial from the sideline in towards the circle, taken down nicely in defence and played along the floor towards halfway.
Nicely taken by Robert Gleeson there. That's you've got players behind him for Brooklands, and needed to be sure of his collection there.
Nice control and that was good. That's a first penalty corner of the game. There was about to be a flick over the goalkeeper. Let's look at it again and you can talk us through it.
I think that look how quick the counter-attacks can come when they happen properly. I mean, that ball's gone from one end to the other despite it breaking the play into 10 seconds. And the aerial into the D there, nicely picked, but the stick tackle by the looks of it has stopped the finish. He's turned it round, so there you go.
So whilst we were watching the replay, obviously the umpires don't have the benefit of the replay, so a consultation must have happened while we were focused on the screen. So no penalty corner is the outcome. You haven't missed anything.
So we've seen the aerial used 3 times, twice by Brooklands and once by Beeston so far, but
very early days as well.
I think any intention that Beeston had to play this at full tempo, Brooklands have been quickly onto that and have matched it. And so it's a little bit end to end at the moment.
Broken down a tiny bit here, but hopefully we'll start to see a few more passes match the endeavour that's been shown by both sides so far. Beeston can't get out, but that's a nice little flick forward and quickly onto the front foot. Robbie Gleeson plays the ball along the line for Alex Blumfield. Player on the floor blocks it. That's first mention for Eddie Waite of Brooklands, number 13.
Clever little outlet for Beeston a minute ago, just working it nicely through Adam Dix in the midfield.
That could have fallen so kindly for Beeston, but it didn't. I must say Brooklands have done well calmly under pressure there to get the ball to where they have it now, which is approaching halfway.
Yeah, nice escape.
Good. And on the attack they go. Goalkeeper's out of home at the moment, but the ball is now out of play and ready for a Brooklands sideline ball. They've done very well, Brooklands, so far.
Simon Hudge ran quickly out of his D to get his first touch of the game.
Something from the training ground here, and it is going to be a free hit outside of the circle for Brooklands. How close to the edge of the circle? That close. Aerial ball across the field, and that's been blown up against Beeston.
Yeah, the receiving Brooklands player closed down too quickly.
Crunched towards the circle, and seems to be an enormous amount of players in our field of vision.
Yes, yeah. I think everybody's working to the point of the ball at the moment, and maybe one of the things that will happen as we move through the game is a bit more expansion in positional play, so there's more shape escaping from defence, a bit like it's happening now. Got to be clever using your transfer play, that you create space for the second pass so that you can escape from it. You don't want to be transferring all day. The purpose is to get some space and force the defence to have to work hard to create any press.
Elliot Barton, here is one of the new faces for Beeston, Elliot Barton, fine from Australia.
Yeah, three games in now for him, and he's scored a couple of times. Talking to Stephen Wood about him, he describes him as a bit of a nuisance on the forward line and creating opportunities for, certainly for Chris Proctor, whose goal tally's gone up quickly.
That's nice, and Beeston on the front foot here towards the baseline. That's going to be a free hit for the Bees. Promising position, about 5 metres outside of the circle or so. That's a foot again from Brooklands. Into the circle it goes, bouncing ball, can't be picked up, but Beeston will retain possession. In towards the circle once more, it comes off a Brooklands stick, and that opportunity is lost, but it's been overturned.
Just shows how throwing that ball into the D, I know that was a mishit, but you can do it deliberately. Just bobbling that ball into the D can cause defences all kinds of trouble, but Brooklands have handled that quite well again.
It's something extra to think about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Coming up to the 9-minute mark here on BeeTV, Beeston 0, Brooklands Manchester University 0. It's been an entertaining first passage of play here. Don't forget we're also playing in quarters, so that'll be 17.5 minutes will be the first break in play. In defence at the moment, Brooklands nudge the ball out. Is there anyone else on the Brooklands side that you're interested in seeing today?
I always think it's interesting watching Aidan Cares play because he's very, very individual, very skillful, but he's quite capable of scoring goals and winning short corners. So dangerous for them. I think the Flanagans as well, dangerous for Brooklands and tend to get their goals from corners or open play.
Proctor did very well there to win the ball back and flick it forward to Lucas Ward. Ward's ball, unfortunately, sailed all the way through.
Yeah, I think when you attack at pace, at absolute pace, sometimes the players don't get there quick enough, and so it's just flown off the other side of the pitch.
Nice take. This could be an opportunity here. The umpire says, what does the umpire say? His hand is in the air, but it's going to be a Beeston ball.
Yes, Beeston ball, yeah. This is a fairly typical start for a Beeston Brooklands game. I think both sides wanted to make sure that they don't let the others have control, so it's been played at a bit of a pace, and there's not so much control in either team's build-up play at the moment.
A few moments of genuine skill, though.
Yep.
It's not all about the hard running. Considered ball along the sideline, doesn't find its intended recipient, so it's going to be on the side.
I'm quite interested to see the forwards leads from Beeston at the moment. Richard Lawrence and Nick Park both leading well and collecting the ball. Crucial part of those leads is to make sure they can pick the ball up. But Brooklands have defended very well so far.
A little bit of a slip there, nothing doing for the umpire. 2 balls on the field, so we'll wait for a moment for one to be cleared. Long corner, if my memory serves me correctly, first one of the game.
Yep.
Bobby Gleeson goes backwards.
More of a half-court defensive press from
all the way through, and long corner again for Beeston.
Yeah, Brooklands just sank. That's the first time they've really sank back a little bit deeper, so that's given Beeston a little bit more opportunity to transfer slightly higher up the pitch.
Dixon, what can he do? His forward ball is blocked. It falls kindly, though. And the umpire's found against Brooklands Manchester University, so Beeston will get us going again. This time, coming back through Kyle Marshall. He's going to receive the ball again here. What can he do? Is he going to go diagonal? No, he's gone backwards, maintaining the possession of the ball. Marshall again dictating the play. Chip ball forward, bounces, taken down, bobbles all the way through. Long corner, says the umpire, if I'm reading my signals properly.
Yeah. I think, again, the ball fed forward very quickly from Kyle Marshall. It was in the air most of the way, and nobody was able to get on the end of that.
Dixon on the halfway line. Checks back. Thought about the aerial there, but decided to play the ball along the floor.
This is where you get that combination of patience and a build-up to try to create better attacking plays by using your transfer work. Adam Dixon dropped out into the back 4 so that Beeston can be building that up a bit better, maybe exerting a bit more control of the game.
Indeed, this is a very distinctly different phase and a different style to the play that we saw in the moments leading up to this, and now it's led to an opportunity towards the circle. Can this be formed into a shooting opportunity? It is in the circle. Umpires looking very carefully at it, and it's been shepherded to safety there. That's a good 60 seconds of control from Beeston.
Yeah, that's right, and I think there was almost a deliberate attempt to try and win a penalty corner there. Didn't quite come off.
We've noticed also recently that the penalty corner work has been coming off of Beeston in a much better way than it has done in the first quarter of the season.
Yes.
Is there any particular one thing we can point to for that?
Well, I think, the early part of the season, all clubs have the same problem, trying to get to a stable 16, and certainly to understand who can do what roles, and when there's a lot of disruption to that, it can take a while to settle. Beeston are now 3 or 4 games in with a settled side, and all of a sudden the play has been better. Allows them to train and practice better, and that's counted for quite a bit.
3 penalty corners converted against Exeter University, and 2 against East Grinstead in their 2 most recent wins, so they are starting to find a bit of form in the set piece. Brooklands have popped the ball up, and it's gone beyond the upright, and that was a close thing.
Yeah, this is the dangerous thing. The bit that Beeston have got to look out for here is that Brooklands are perfectly capable of getting across the 25 and into the D quickly, and that can lead to anything. So scramble defence really from Beeston's point of view. off a turnover, so they need to be very careful of that.
14 minutes gone, still awaiting the first goal, still awaiting the first penalty corner of the game, but it's not been lacking in skill and intent. That's a crunch of the sticks there. Umpire plays on with Brooklands in control of the ball, although that's been mopped up by Beeston's 23, Matthew Cruikshanks, at the expense of a sideline ball for Brooklands. Brooklands going on the air. It's been controlled in the circle, and that is the first penalty corner of the game, and it's gone the way of the away side. Let's have a look at it on the replay. What was that?
Well, I think because the game has been a little bit messy, we've seen both sides trying to exert a bit of control, and it's still remained a bit messy. That was a turnover again from Beeston, quickly into the D, free Brooklands player, and because the Beeston defenders had to scramble that defence, I think it might have hit a foot, or certainly been a foul there, and it's given the corner to Brooklands. So,
well, whatever it was, the umpire was in an ideal place to spot it.
Yeah.
So let's look at some of the penalty corner candidates. Eddie Way has scored 2 for the season, Peter Flanagan 1 and Tom Lush 1. So Eddie Way is number 13. Is he on the field? Can we see him? Also, let's ID the player going over to inject the ball, if we can see a number on the back of that shirt. I think the sun's not doing me any favours today, looking out the window as well. There we can see the shape of 13, Eddie Way, 2 penalty corners to his name. He's to the extreme right of your picture. Interesting setup they're going for here.
Well, Simon Hudjwan's made a couple of very good saves, particularly last week against East Grinstead from corners, and he's going to need to be on his mettle here.
It's trapped Way with the shot, and Hudjwan with a terrific save to block that.
We've talked about Simon before in Beeston's goal. Confidence player, needs to feel that he's on top of his game.
And it's all the way out. Then Beeston survive the first penalty corner of the game, and that was a terrific save. I'm sure we'll see that again in the highlights.
I spoke to Simon before today's game, and he was saying that he felt that he'd had a few difficult games, but he was now training well and in control of things, really. He felt confident with the way the defence were playing, so at least to a settled mind, really.
Less than 60 seconds to the first quarter-time break. Still goalless. It's been a nice, good game, this one, if you're watching. I know there's an awful lot of neutrals watching us on BeeTV as well, so hello to you.
I think both sides have struggled a bit with the tidiness of the game, really, but that leads to these opportunities.
Now, can Brooklands fashion an opportunity before that quarter-time break? Good stick.
Very
block.
good.
Right place, right time. Good work from number 10, Nick Park.
Yeah.
And Dixon strides forward, he's into the final quarter, and it's into the circle, flashed across the face of goal, and umpire signals long corner,
yeah.
And that should be time, though. Goalkeeper kicks, and that's Robert Turner, still playing.
41 years of age, and
that is that quarter-time break. And very good end to the break, but that's the best shooting opportunity was for Brooklands on that penalty corner routine.
Yes, he was, yeah. I think Beeston have had the counter-attacks that have led to deep penetration, but Brooklands have had these breakaways and have got that penalty corner. So it's a little bit even Steamers, I think, as we get to the first break.
Okay, 2-minute break here. Beeston 0, Brooklands 0. Do we have a quick update on the women's game that started earlier today? That's coming for us in a few moments' time. And elsewhere today, we've got in the men's fixtures Holcombe Surbiton, Exeter University versus East Grinstead, and the women's game, which was at 12:30, Birmingham University versus East Grinstead. And we have a final score. It was, as it was when we started the programme, Birmingham University 1, East Grinstead 3 is a final score. In the men's games, this is the way things are coming. Those 3 games starting at 3 o'clock, and it will flash updated. And we have a goal. It is Exeter University 0, East Grinstead 1. And our other 2 games, it's Holcombe 0, Surbiton 0, and the game you're watching is Beeston 0, Brooklands Manchester University 0. Not great times for Exeter University at the moment.
No, difficult. Real scrap for them to find points, and it is difficult down there. And of course, Beeston were looking at that end of the league for a while, and it's only in the recent weeks they've actually been able to move away a little bit. Today they'll be wanting to keep that going, so that they can keep that points tally ticking along.
Indeed, and all is not lost if you're at the bottom of the table. A result that stood out yesterday was Reading 4, Old Georgians 4. Old Georgians pushing for the top. Reading still bottom of the table. Heck of a result that was from yesterday.
You can see early part of the run into the end of the season where teams start to scrap at the bottom for points, and you know, you could look at that league and think the worst of Reading because of where they are, but one thing you can be sure of is that they're going to battle week in, week out.
Lots of grinning here in the chapel because we managed to get the whole of the William Tell overture in between the quarter-time break there. No goals, plenty of action, plenty of reasons to stay tuned here to BeeTV. Beeston 0, Brooklands 0, Premier Division hockey from Nottinghamshire.
I don't think either side have pressed very well so far because it's been fairly easy for each team to get out of the back four and into the middle part of the pitch. Part of the control of the game is how your front players press and maybe look to win the ball on that forward line, and neither side are demonstrating that. It's being done very well at the moment, so something to improve on. There we go.
That's been mopped
step
up.
In.
That's been mopped up, and that's good stepping in from Stephen Ray Hills. And it's suddenly broken kindly for Beeston, and they're on the attack very quickly. Very fast running, so quick he's had to check back. Nick Park's ball forward. Good interception, an important place, although it will come back to them. Good control from Robbie Gleeson. And Joe Sharp with a pass, finding Richard Lawrence.
Yeah, Richard caught there, just a little bit slow on releasing that pass, and it was pinched off him. I think he felt a bit aggrieved with that, but you've got to be quick in those situations and maintain that possession and passing pace. Beeston dropped off quite a long way here. That's there's no heavy press going on there. You can't do that for the whole of the game, but this phase of it, I'd probably like to see them pushing a bit harder for possession higher up the pitch.
Another aerial ball leads to another free hit for Brooklands, and punched towards the circle, and I'm sure that flicked off a Beeston player, so it's going to be another free hit in a dangerous position for the visitors. Just inside from the sideline. Slower ball in towards the circle. Lots of strength there, and that's another good stop.
Very good.
And that's another opportunity for Simon Hurjwan to show his skills.
Well, I think that just confirms what we've sort of thought about him in the last couple of games. He's keeping very well at the moment. That was an excellent shot, and I think on a different day that might well have bypassed him, but he seems to be on fire at the moment.
Terrific work, and he's by far the busier keeper, but Beeston have had the better of the possession, and as often. And that is the way sometimes.
Yeah. There's always a temptation to rush your build-up play when you feel you perhaps should have had a corner or scored a goal, and I think that was an example where that aerial was going to be very difficult for Beeston to retain possession.
Into the second quarter, still awaiting the first goal. We've had one penalty corner and a couple of decent shots on target from Brooklands, but still waiting that first clear goal-scoring opportunity. Bit of a scramble in defence, but Beeston have won the ball.
Aidan Kerr showing his ability to get past a couple of players there.
A little bit of indecision there, but we are going again. Down the sideline, chops inside, nice run with the ball. And I'm sure that came off a foot, so we're going to go back again for a free hit here. And there we go.
Probably as you would expect, Adam Dixon's on the ball a lot, sort of coordinating the build-up play.
Fired in, nice take. Proctor goes to ground and has won the free hit. Now is he going to wait for teammates to come up there? The support is coming. and flicks the ball into the circle, but that is sadly all the way through.
A bit of a misunderstanding there, I think, showing how well Brooklands are sort of marshalling and getting back into shape. Created indecision there from Chris Proctor, and the connection with the leading forward wasn't made.
If I say there was room there, you could have driven a bus down, but
Yep.
sometimes the telepathy isn't there in the forward players.
And I think from Beeston's point of view, that's the bit they'll want to see gel sooner rather than later. This ball is getting to the forward line, but they need to be more creative from there.
Good punch ball, and that's a nice take on the baseline. Trying to engineer a penalty corner, but they've got third prize, which is a free hit here. Attempted 3D skills don't come off, and Beeston with Chris Proctor take the ball out of defence, and he's going hell for leather over halfway with the ball. And that's a nice pass
Very good
outside.
pace.
Will he rejoin? He is in the middle and slides it under the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper meets it. Robert Turner doing great effort there.
Well, he's just come out very quickly and closed any opportunity down. That's excellent goalkeeping.
It was almost underneath him, but he managed
was.
to stop it with his body. Very good effort from the oldest player on the field.
Still very quick. Good counter-attack though. Chris Proctor was pacey through the middle of the park, and that shows how much space that can create. I think the pass back inside was right, but obviously, as we say, Robbie Turner out very quickly.
Brooklands making steady progress down the right-hand side in front of a busy spectator gallery here at Nottingham Hockey Centre.
5-6 Beeston players over there, knowing they've got to certainly keep an eye on Aidan Kerr's ability to get to the baseline.
Ball in the circle, umpire right on it, indicates long corner for Brooklands. Taken quickly, with it, it's Tom Lush into the circle. It's turned, a lot of black shirts there, trying to get the ball out of trouble. That's a shot towards and wide of the upright, and another warning sign for that Beeston defence.
Absolutely, and the ball was with Robbie Gleeson on the end of his stick there, but it was taken off him in the D, and really he's got to be sharp there, make sure he gets that away from the danger area.
Are we waiting a match? No, the match ball is there. Given that we're in a general election, there's not going to be any political statement here, but we'll bring out the swingometer. The swingometer of the game is towards Brooklands, I think.
Yes,
now,
yeah.
After a spell in the Beeston side of the swingometer.
I think it should have been with Beeston, but I don't think they've kept possession well enough in the final third. I think this is probably a time from Beeston's point of view where they could do with maybe targeting getting a short corner so that they can settle around the D top and have a go at the Brooklands goal. Decent use of the middle of the park, but again
lost and then one back in the air and knocked out of play. Beeston sideline ball in front of the officials. Nice slide and run there. Progress comes to a stop. Free hit for the Bees.
Lucas Ward finding his way through a couple of Brooklands defenders there.
And to the baseline. There is a player there on the line, but can't be found. Brooklands do a good job of defending that
Very
as well.
good again, yep. It's Chris Proctor in a bit of space, but Brooklands very quickly onto that. They are very good in defensive low positions. It's very difficult to get round them one-on-one.
Robbie Gleeson tries to take on Patrick Lonergan. Loose ball, taken cleanly.
And even though it was deflected by a Brooklands player, it was nowhere near a Beeston player, so they come away with the ball again.
Yeah, Richard Slater showing good strength on the sideline as well. Dan Vincent goes across the whole of the defence. This is Brooklands' time to engineer a slow build attack, but that evaporates as they've lost possession on the sideline. he slipped through 2 players there, and the run still continues, and it's been blocked off. Surely that should be brought back.
Yes, Elliot Barton just being blocked a bit there, and it's given Beeston the free hit.
You were saying about his nuisance, and I think that
Yeah,
just says
that's
exactly
right, yes.
what it is. Eddie Way under an awful lot of pressure there, shepherds the ball and loses possession. Beeston trying to make their way inside the circle, but play is stopped for a free hit. Trying to find the exact spot at the insistence of the umpire. Roll the ball, and that's been turned over so very quickly.
Yes, yeah. So important as a forward to spot where you can be effective. It's not always just about scoring goals. You've got to create opportunities for others, and of course you do that best by retaining possession and then getting into the D.
Gleeson on the run. Can he find a teammate? He's played the ball directly out of play. As we approach the conclusion of the 28th minute, it's Beeston 0, Brooklands 0. Half-time break is coming up on 35 minutes, so around 7 minutes or so. Can we find a goal in the next 7 minutes or so?
Well, both sides have had opportunities. I mean, Brooklands have had the corner, which I think Beeston need to try and manufacture one of those if they can. So at the moment you'd have to say that this is pretty evenly matched, and it could go either way.
Sideline ball taken, crunched in towards the circle by David Flanagan. Hat-trick goal scorer David Flanagan against Reading the other week.
Good player. He's dangerous. I think he'd make it into any Premier League side, and so he needs to be watched carefully.
Foot indicated by the umpire. Brooklands can pile forward here. They've gone quickly with Jake Reed. Really boxing in Beeston in that far corner of the field, trying to engineer a situation where they're coming out of it, and they've done pretty well there.
Quite difficult to get out of those tight areas. I mean, you're looking at 8-9 players all in the same 3-metre square.
Long ball bounces down, and it's going to be good for Chris Proctor now. Does he have any support? His first time ball in towards the circle been blocked by Tom Lush, who's on the ball now. Lawrence with a real battling performance there. Just can't stop the ball being passed forward.
Another example of how low Brooklands get in the tackle, and
I tell you what, that's talk about low. You can't get much lower than Kyle Marshall there. He's pretty much had his face on the ground.
Yeah.
Another ball to the outside, trying to stretch the Beeston defence. Adam Dixon's gone out to meet it. It's in towards the circle, and I'm sure that hit the outside of the frame of the goal, so it's going to be a Beeston defensive hit. We're into minute 31. Beeston 0, Brooklands 0, Brooklands 0 live on BeeTV.
I think Beeston will be a bit frustrated that they've not created an absolute scoring chance yet. There've been little sniffs, but nothing really dead certain yet, so that's something they're going to have to work on. The build-up play has not been bad. They've been able to create counter-attacks and build-up play.
Nick Park spins, makes the space for himself. He's done well to maintain possession for as long as he did, but it's going to be a Beeston free hit there. He was fouled in that spell. Crookshank's got us going underway. Out to the left-hand side. Now, can this be an avenue of success for Beeston? It's gone all the way through, and it's been booted out of play, I think. It's going to be a sideline ball for Beeston.
See another ball fed into the D there, and you're sort of hoping that your forwards can work out what angle it might enter the D. Difficult to do, but you've got to sort of keep a swivel head on and keep looking in all directions all the time and know what might happen.
Beeston are punished there. It's going to be a free hit for Brooklands. Not had a card yet this game.
No.
We were speaking a little off air earlier on about the number of cards that have had. Beeston are the only team in single figures of cards so far this season. They're playing the team joint top of the card chart.
Yeah. a sign of how hard Brooklands fight. But from Beeston's point of view, Stephen Wood will have instilled his level of discipline into it. He was a player himself who was not one for cards or anything like that. He saw it as a bit of a waste of time getting carded, so he tries to get that message through to his players.
You're saying Stephen Wood, there's no Stephen Wood on the sideline today?
No, he's coaching indoor, so Mark Wadsley and James McBlain in control.
Nice run. Progress halted illegally. Aerial ball flung towards the circle, taken down. Shot towards goal. Goalkeeper parries it. It's still loose in the circle. Good end to the half this. Across the face of goal again. Long corner outcome. Terrific effort
But
again
not the
from
shot.
Robert Turner.
What an interesting phase of play. The reverse aerial there thrown forwards. Chris Proctor in his ideal territory, but didn't get the shot off. But credit to Robbie Turner for his save.
Two very, very good moments for him in the game so far. Beeston have suddenly turned it on again and looking dangerous. As the ball bobbles out of play, it's been turned over. Brooklands have possession.
Really noticeable feature of Brooklands. The minute that Beeston turn up the pressure, Brooklands do it equally, in equal measure in defence, and that's making it very difficult. There hasn't been a Beeston forward yet who's had more than about 2 or 3 feet of clearance when he's received the ball, and that's credit to the defence that Brooklands are putting in.
Now, as someone who's an interested spectator rather than a player, would that be the players recognising this and reacting to it, or is that a call from the sideline, do you think?
I think first and foremost it has to be a player seeing what's happening. He's there on the pitch, they can identify how close a defender is to them. It would definitely be a point that the coaches should be talking about at half-time, how they create the space up front to create more shooting opportunities, and certainly a penalty corner opportunity.
Stephen Ray Hills couldn't believe he'd been pulled up for a foul there, but he actually stood on the ball without realising it. Here's an opportunity crunched, and that's another good save from Robert Turner in the Brooklands goal.
Well, you can't fault Robbie Turner's performance so far. It's top draw, both keepers pulling off great saves.
Less than 60 seconds on our clock towards half-time. Balls popped up through the air. Umpires pointing, free hit for Brooklands. Player on the floor, David Flanagan in the circle there, looking towards the umpire. Another important connection there. Brooklands have the ball, and they're in the circle. Play on, says the umpire. No, penalty corner.
No, they're not. That's very late in the half for a penalty corner. Beeston seem very upset by that. See that turnover there. It's
so was that just an accumulation?
Yeah,
of
I
fouls?
think it might have been a foot. It is quite difficult to see from here, but you see, for me, when the ball was on the sideline with the Beeston player, very important to understand where you are in the game. So if you're very close to half-time or to any run into a break, you need to make sure you don't turn that possession over. A ball infield at that point was not the right decision. It should have been kept out there and taken down the line. Brooklands very committed to winning that possession back, and of course it's served them well, because here they are with their second penalty corner.
Indeed, and as we've ticked over the magic 35 minutes, you can afford to put more players forward as well. I think that's what they've done there. There's more of a crowd seen around the edge of the circle. Again, eyes focused on Eddie Way, number 13, the likely striker of the ball.
Well, they want to get this injection spot on now. This is a chance for Brooklands.
It's a repeat penalty corner, and that struck
Nick
number
Park,
10, Nick
yeah.
Park, and he's not a happy bunny, Nick Park.
You see, you ask so much of the number 1 runner so quickly out, and it's exactly what you want them to do. But if your timing's a little bit off, or if you're a bit late arriving, then chances it's going to hit you somewhere on the knee. And that's exactly what's happened there.
Oh, Superman through the air.
Yes.
And looking live, there's going to be a delay, I think. Nick Park's up and moving, but they're going to have a quick look at this one. He's off, actually. He's not. He's hobbling towards half-time. So Beeston I don't think you're able to replace that player in this situation. So ending the half with 10 players on the field of play.
And now somebody else has got to do the number 1 running job, and nobody particularly likes doing it. Some players are better at it than others. I always remember Mark Gleghorn like running number 1. Ben Arnold at Wimbledon, he was good at it. And you've got to have a lot of confidence in your own speed.
Here we go. It's way, and that is in it. That is it. It's Brooklands who have the lead at half-time.
Just desserts for them, really. I mean, keeping the pressure on as they have done.
Simple, straightforward routine, good execution, but that's all it took. The runners came out to block, but that created an awful lot of space in the left-hand side of Simon Hujwan's goal. There's nothing he could do about that.
It's gone through both him and the postman, but that's the difficulty when you get the flick off in that direction. It's difficult to see.
Eddie Way scoring against East Grinstead and Beeston with penalty corners already this season. He's added another one to his tally. So 35 minutes in, it's Beeston 0, Brooklands 1. That final touch of the ball ending the half. 10 minutes for the players to get their instructions, and we'll be back again for more play in 10 minutes time. This is BeeTV.
Well, I think that's been a fascinating half of hockey, really. I don't think at any point in time either side has had a complete control in the way that they would want to play the game. It's obviously led nicely onto the situation where Brooklands have got their goal and their lead. Just talking with Gareth Griffiths here, I'm just wondering what you're seeing in that, Gaz, from the point of view of Beeston's play particularly.
Yeah, well, we've got a few clips here to look at, so we'll get them up. Firstly, I just think there's a lot of overhead passes in the game today, so Ollie Willars, he's had a few good weeks, his range of passing has been brilliant, and that just completely wipes out the whole of the Brooklands team. And then, I don't know, you could debate there, could that have been a corner? I know it got reversed, but...
Yeah. I think it's an interesting part of the game, isn't it, really, how you use the aerial, and whether or not your players are aware enough of how to get on the end of it. And as you say, there's been quite a few in that half.
Again, Brooklands here with a similar sort of play from Aidan Cares, and that did lead to a corner.
Yes.
And then just looking at this clip, this was a great piece of counter-attacking from Chris Proctor. What I particularly liked about this, he went through, but then once he played the pass, he wasn't satisfied with that. He tried to get on the end of it again.
Yeah, I agree. That's
good early whip from Henry Croft to be available for the ball.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just a great piece of counter-attack play.
And Chris Proctor's been very good at that in recent weeks, hasn't he?
Yes.
His pace and his control has worked well. So second half, I'd probably think there'd be more of that from him.
Absolutely. And then again, another shot from him. He's causing havoc here, but not sure what happened with Ollie Willars there. I think he turned into Tandanoia for a few minutes there. Great pass there. Yes, it's been quite an exciting half. I think Beeston spent a bit of time early doors, up full pressing. I think Brooklands found it quite easy to play out of that because their fullbacks repositioned quite well. Yeah. What you want from your centre forward there is to keep the ball to one side. Everyone knows where it's going, but I thought they played out of it.
Credit to Brooklands, I think, really. Their defensive shape, and certainly Robbie Turner in goal has been excellent.
Absolutely, yeah.
Welcome back to BeeTV. Eventful end to the first half. Beeston 0, Brooklands 1 confirmed. It's a Peter Flanagan penalty corner right at the end of the first half, with a final touch of the ball, putting it beyond Simon Hushwan. So 35 minutes for Beeston to turn it around, and already Brooklands are on the attack. Brooklands in the white shirts, Beeston in the black shirts. Brooklands attacking the boulevard end, and Beeston attacking the car park end, which is what they're doing right now. Steve Musson, what would you have said if you were in charge of Beeston at half-time?
Well, I think if they're going to accept that the game is going to be one of counter-attacks, they've got to get more from the forwards in terms of winning penalty corners from Beeston's point of view. And probably the same from Brooklands. They've been doing it well and creating a couple of 3 short corners for themselves, and of course that's what's actually given them the lead. So Beeston's build-up players either got to improve, so there's more stuff in the middle of the park.
Just like now. Well, that's a good opportunity into the circle. It's been mopped up again. Brooklands have been very good in defence, and that last line against Robert Turner, without him, I think Beeston could have been out of sight by now.
Yes, I think he's had an excellent first half, and from a Beeston point of view, let's hope it gets worse.
Again, it's a very congested part of the field of play. Looks more like rugby at the moment. All the way through though, and pops out, and it's going to be a Brooklands defensive hit. 37th minute. Beeston 1, Brooklands 0. Sorry, let's do that again. Beeston 0, Brooklands 1. Can't read that one.
See, that was a very good example there. That's quite a good position to be in. There's a lot of players around there, and we talked about how effective forwards are. And Richard Lawrence, or whoever's in that position, has got to create more than just pushing the ball off the back of the park, because it's too easy for Brooklands to then come away. Yeah, so the point I was going to make really, Andy, is that Beeston's build-up play through the midfield has got to be more controlled than it has been, or their forwards have got to get on the end of more of these counter-attacks and retain possession in the D. So one way or the other, they need to improve their attacking progress.
Well, that's the wrong end of the field for Beeston at the moment, so they're looking to do that. That said, though, there's a lot of space, and there's a pass on here. Yes, there is. It's been taken by Crookshanks, who's forwarded it on very quickly. Lucas Ward, his progress was stopped illegally, so we'll have a free hit here. Crookshanks will get us going again on the left-hand side. Can Beeston convert this into a shooting opportunity? Slid into the left-hand side towards the baseline. Been tapped out of play by Dan Vincent.
Yeah, this
Long corner taken quickly. They're not letting up here. They are playing very quickly. It's another free hit, and it's going to be taken from just about 5 metres outside the circle into the circle. Very good effort to take the foot out of the way of the running ball, but it's a turnover. Brooklands Manchester University have the ball.
Good skills from Chris Proctor on the baseline, and again another example where unfortunately it's not connected, but you can't fault his work. It's just the effort that needs to go in to make sure that something comes from that corner or goal.
That's out of play. I think I recognise to the right of your picture in the blue overcoat, is that Paul Gannon, the head coach of Brooklands Manchester University. Works with England youth.
He does, yes, that's right. Adam Dixon on the ball again. The right side attack. This could be a useful place for Beeston to be attacking down the right hand side.
Nice stop and go there. That relieved a little bit of pressure on the attack. Lucas Ward strokes the ball back over halfway. Beeston a goal down, looking for a route back into the game at the moment.
Brooklands so good at filling zones with defensive players, and then when you add into that their ability to tackle well, and it's making life very difficult for Beeston to actually build up play. There's always a Brooklands defender right in the line of the Beeston player, so round it has to go again.
I must say, as it stands, this is very good news for Brooklands, because that would put them, at their current position in 8th, would put them on to 12 points for the season and leapfrog Beeston and put them into at least 6th place.
That is a very good release. That's Carl Marshall, I think, and now this is yet another counter-attack. Hard work for Chris Proctor up there. He's looking for the opportunities he's been having in other games to run freely with the ball, and it's frustrating for him. He's got to keep doing the work. Something will come for him in this half.
Yes, I remember, I think it was against Readington, the run and shots that he had that day, and the ability to run has been taken away. A bit of a coming together there.
Well, I think you just mentioned Paul Gannon. I'm sure that he's actually looked at previous games from Beeston and thought this is one of the areas they've got to tidy up.
That's a nice flick towards the goal.
Excellent technique from Robbie Turner there. No space between him and the post.
Another long corner. Adam Dixon on this. Quickly into the circle, bounces a couple of times, finds a Brooklands stick. I think it's going to be one of those days where the rub of the ball is going for Brooklands.
If you want to frustrate your opponent, do what Brooklands are doing here, and that is get behind everything, make your tackles, clear it well, and make the opposition have to start again from deep.
Gone all the way down and then into the circle. It is loose. Can this be converted into a shooting opportunity? It's popped up, and that is a penalty corner for Beeston. That was a shot that was flicked up into the air. There was an attempt at playing the ball in the air. I think the call came
up off the keeper. But again, I mean, I think you take that again put that down for a good bit of goalkeeping from Robbie Turner. He's up against it here. Look at his activity. Kept an eye on it. And even though it's off him that's given the corner away, he's just kept that ball out of the net.
So that's good save number 4.
Yeah, I think that's right. Today. Yes, yeah. Well, Adam Dixon scored twice from corners last weekend, and he'll be looking to. He is on the nearest castle to the injector, so he'll be looking for something here.
Special mention to those of you in the video gantry there behind there enjoying the penalty corner music. I'm sure you'll be overjoyed to watch this one back on BeeTV.
Trying to keep warm.
Dixon towards goal, and that's the equalising goal. Adam Dixon's Beeston captain equalises.
Well, I think Adam's worked out how to slot the balls in. I was looking last week at his flicks, and very precise. It's not top of the net or under the side of the bar or anything. It's really nicely placed into a difficult area. It went in the same place as the Brooklands corner went in, and that's one of the most tricky places to defend.
Adam Dixon, penalty corner number 4 goal this season.
Yes, yeah.
And Proctor, yes, into the circle. This is the shooting opportunity, but that's wide. That's the run and shot that we were talking about a few minutes ago.
Tricky because, again, credit to the Brooklands defence, because Chris Proctor needed a big wind-up to get the shot off, but that was the time the defensive stick went in, so stopped his shot. Both sides now look in this phase of the game to create as much control and possession as they can. Skillful play from Richard Lawrence. And
that's another penalty corner for Beeston. We were talking off air about the goal scoring record of Adam Dixon.
Yes.
And he's really turned the taps on it this season. And I wonder, he's going to be, he scored all of his goals so far this season have come from set pieces.
Right.
4 now penalty corners and a penalty stroke against Brooklands Manchester University. So I wonder who's going to be the leading candidate to try and pop this one in to make it 2-1.
Well, that must be, I think I'm right, that's Adam Dixon's 101 goals for the club or something like that in his career, and his 300 appearances, so he does pop up from time to time.
Yes, this is, I think, the most prolific season, so certainly I can remember since I've been coming here.
Well, I think to be honest, he looks like he's enjoying playing this club hockey. I mean, he's reveling in being all over the pitch. He's coordinating the plays and restarts.
Responsibility of being a GB captain as well.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here. It is Dixon again. Lays it off, and this time receives the ball, and that's a good defensive effort. That's a flick save as well. It's all going on there.
Yes, I was going to say I thought they'd probably want that to be a corner as it's come
And
flying out at head height.
I think that's the outcome there as well. Certainly the Beeston players are going into formation for a penalty corner. I wonder if we can see that back again on the replay, just exactly what happened. Just right on cue, let's see that. So Dixon received the ball, passed it out to the right-hand side, and then received the ball again. And the shot was blocked on the line. The shot came in, was punched out, and at the point it was open play, at which point the umpire changed their mind and decided to go, that's a penalty corner.
Yeah, so I think Brooklands thought that the shot was high and difficult, but it wasn't actually near a player. Then when it came off the keeper, it wasn't quite high from a Beeston player's point of view, and that's why there's been a reward of a corner. So I actually thought that Adam would have had that. That was a beautiful in and out move, and he did have space.
Wrong-footed the defence as well. Good effort. So sometimes you go with the power, sometimes you try and a routine.
Yeah.
That was a mixture of the two. That was a routine with power.
Yes.
And getting it right at the right time. So penalty corner number 3 in relatively quick succession for the home side. We're at 1-1. Clock stopped at 45 minutes. This time it's power, and that time it is into the back of the net. Adam Dixon is celebrating, and I'm sure that's his second goal of the game. Terrific effort from Beeston to turn it around.
You can't fault his enthusiasm. He's absolutely into this game, and he's playing very well. And he'll be delighted with getting another brace of penalty corner goals.
Low, hard, straight in, nothing but backboard, and he's celebrating like he's won the World Cup. Terrific effort.
I feel for Robbie Turner there. He's been having a super game, and I'm sure he'll continue to do that. But that was savable, but because I think it was very close to him, it was more difficult for him to see.
So 3 goals from penalty corners so far in this game. Once again, if you were watching earlier on, it's Peter Flanagan who scored first with the final touch of the game in the first half to make it 1-0 for Brooklands. Adam Dixon with a brace of penalty corners in that second half so far. Terrific turnaround. And Beeston didn't have a penalty corner in the first half at all. And it's 2 from 3. And this could be another positive attack here. Reverse on. Oh, and there's a slide-in opportunity in there as well.
Yeah, I think that came off Robbie Turner's foot as well.
In the chapel with us at the moment is Gareth Griffiths. I wonder if he would have put that one away, but we can ask him that a little bit later on. Of course, Gareth Griffiths out of action at the moment due to a broken finger, which looks awful from here, I can tell you. The strapping on it is immense. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Brooklands, though, looking to counter and looking to get back level relatively quickly. They have a free hit into the circle, and that is a penalty corner. Now, bearing in mind that they were successful from a penalty corner earlier in the game.
You see, this is what happens when you get a run of goals. It's how you settle after you've scored is so important. And a brief moment there, Beeston just not ready for the restart. That's called Lucas Ward out, just on the edge of the D. Look, you can see there that not quite ready. Makes it easier for a Brooklands player to win a short corner off a foot.
Yeah, Lucas Ward is the player that was pulled up for that. So Peter Flanagan, the captain, is number 16.
Beeston will be keen to keep this clean because, funnily enough, their points tally has grown quickest away from home. So they'll be wanting to stay in front here, but this is a dangerous moment. There's plenty of time in the game, but they won't want this to be nip and tuck and equalisers and close score lines.
So your eyes are drawn to the 2 players furthest back here. They haven't got quite that right, and that's gone so wrong, it's been overturned.
Yes, it's been, I think it hits a foot, and after the Brooklands trap, so they think, or mistrap.
What does that feel like if you're a forward player who's come forward and then something like that happens and you've lost that opportunity?
You lost the momentum. I think this is the point that you hope your forwards will understand how important their role is, making sure that they do things precisely.
player goes to ground. So at the moment it is all change. So we were saying how good a result that was as it stood for Brooklands Manchester University. That would keep them at the moment on 9 points. Beeston would move on to 14 and then leapfrog Holcombe as things stand. That's talking about leapfrogging. There's an aerial ball that's kept in neatly. Oh, just beyond the end of the stick. And that could have been 3.
Yeah, and it would be nice to have got an open field play, an open goal from the field play, because if you look at the clubs that do well, they've always got scorers, a number of scorers, and they'll score in different ways. I was looking at Surbiton's statistics. Everybody knows about Alan Forsyth for them, but they've also got Luke Taylor from corners, and they've got other players scoring on a regular basis, so you need it to come from a lot of sources. The minute you're reliant on a single player to get you goals, I think you've got a bit of a problem, really.
We are approaching 3/4 time, and it's a very different position in the game for Beeston than they started the quarter in. We're approaching that, and we'll have a 2-minute break. With it, Aidan Cares, sizable frame of his, trying to make his way towards the baseline.
And this is what Aidan does very well. He's very good on the ball, and he can get to that baseline and then be very dangerous.
He's found a way through, though. Beeston trying to create a bit of congestion. Brooklands have a free hit.
You can't afford to take your eye off the ball as a defender in these situations, because they're quite obviously looking for a corner.
Umpire indicates it struck, I think, Cares, and so it will be a Beeston ball. 52.5 minutes will be our 3/4 time break. You can see that we're about 90 seconds away from that.
2-1's not enough of a scoreline to settle back and just try to take that. You've got to continue to create the opportunities, but it would be nice for it to be done through quality possession now. The turnover there, it's a bit too easy.
Interestingly, in the reverse fixture, Adam Dixon scored a penalty stroke, and Tom Lush and Eddie Way were on target on penalty corners that day. So nothing from open play in the reverse fixture, which is interesting.
I think we've already sort of identified from this game how difficult it is for Beeston to score from open play because of Brooklands' style of defence.
Very, very disbelieving Brooklands players there. Not quite...
Yeah, disappointed that they haven't got something more out of that. Now, this is where I think Beeston have got to bring some quality to it. Their build-up
and
collection.
They've identified that there was some space just beyond Richard Lawrence, and it's a sideline ball, and 30 seconds till 3/4 time.
And that's the bit there, Andy, that I would say is not good enough. One way or the other, either the passer or the receiver has got to make sure that's retained in the interests of the team, because otherwise it starts to go far too end-to-endy, and that's when it's dangerous. Now, this has got to be a build-up that works.
In fact, we've just heard the whistle there to say that is the end of the third period, and of such a good period for Beeston. Going in 1 goal down, leading 2-1. So shall we have a quick look around what's going on? Earlier on today, we had the final result in the women's fixture, which we'll come to in a moment. Oh, there we go. Final score, Birmingham University 1, East Grinstead 3. A good result for East Grinstead, almost cements their place in the top 4 end of season. For the men, all those matches started at 2 o'clock today. Third interval 0. I've never seen that status before. Exeter University 1, East Grinstead 2 is the latest one there. And it's Holcombe 1, Surbiton 2. Surbiton continuing their domination of the division. And it's a good result for Beeston, this, because as things stand, they would definitely leapfrog Holcombe with these scores as they are.
Well, looking at the distance between the bottom 6 teams and the top 4, it's going to be difficult, I think, for anybody to break into that top 4. It looks fairly settled, really, but nevertheless, you just keep winning and see what happens, and you can climb up there. But to certainly get above Holcombe would be good from Beeston's point of view. They need to be careful in this last quarter, because Brooklands will remain dangerous and anything could happen.
Indeed. We were talking about some of the results this season. There's been early season. there was a bit of a dominating performance for Surbiton when they went to Brooklands Manchester University. That was the third game of their season, and it was a 12-0 home defeat. As well as that, on the road, there was a 7-1 defeat against Wimbledon in recent times. But other than that, there's only been 1 or 2 goals in it. So I think they're freak results.
Yeah, I think the trouble with playing against sides like Wimbledon and Surbiton, they are very strong at the moment. And if they get on a roll, it's difficult to settle. And the fight that Brooklands have can be very easily taken away. And that's why I'm sort of wary of this scoreline at 2-1, because Brooklands will not settle for this position. So either Beeston are going to have to score again, or they're going to have to defend very well.
We are live. 17.5 minutes away from the end of the game, and 3 points on offer in the Premier Division. And it's Brooklands looking to find a way back in, and they've been pulled up for a free hit. They've taken quickly. Cares looks to go around the long way. Bouncing ball in the circle. Hujwan meets it at the near post. Long corner is your outcome.
Yeah, a good example of why Brooklands will remain dangerous. A bit of messy defence from Beeston and almost a shot. That's where the defence from Beeston needs to happen. That's perfect stepping in.
Done well there.
But again, unfortunately, the turnover is instant, so not stringing enough passes together after they've repossessed.
But you don't really mind possession being turned over when it's congested in the middle. You don't want to turn it over where you've given someone a clear run at goal. So at the moment, it's not the worst, but it's certainly not something you want to continue to do.
You've got two things in your mind in a way. You want to see some of the time away, so that there's less opportunity for Brooklands to get back in it. And the best way to do that is to retain the possession.
Nice bit of time management there. Stroll the ball down along the floor, keeping it in the corner. That's Proctor.
Very quick restart.
Wins a bit of space for himself, and that's a penalty corner for Beeston.
Yeah.
Proctor's run blocked on the way through.
Perfect response to an early slightly messy phase of the corner, settle down, have another go, Brooklands goal.
Look at this for a turn. The ball comes off the foot, but he carries on playing, lifts the ball in, and I think that's Dan Vincent, who is the player who blocked him on the way through.
Proctor's restart very quick there. Hard for defence to get into the right shape or distance from the play to see it clearly. It's a good opportunity on a restart like that to get your corner.
So who is going to go over to inject? Elliot Barton, I think, is going over to inject. He's had a very good game as well. He's been quiet in places, but effective in other places.
He's a grafter. I think he works hard, and as Steve was saying, he's a nuisance to the opposition, and you need that sort of player.
So hat-trick of penalty corners on offer for Adam Dixon. He's going for it, and he has it!
Well, he's getting very greedy today, Andy, I think. But who cares about that? It was a great finish.
Terrific. He was on it like a flash, and it was beyond goalkeeper Robert Turner before it even had a chance to move. Terrific stuff from Beeston and Great Britain's captain today. Beeston lead Brooklands by 3-1.
Again, he's taken that very simple, straightforward approach to it. Placed it with a lot of power and accuracy.
So that is daylight between the two sides.
Yeah. Again, fall to Beeston to be very careful again, because there's still these chances that will crop up.
Indeed. You want the next goal, should there be one, to be a Beeston one if you're in Beeston colours. Just to make sure, because Brooklands won't go away.
No, they won't. Good effort from Henry Croft there to try to cause problems for that defender. The Brooklands defender doing very well.
By the way, I know something that we haven't done is invited you at home to message us with your nominations for the Riley Wealth Management Player of the Match wherever you're watching in the world. Let us know who stood out for you. I have a guess who I think might take it, but of course your suggestions are welcome as well. Tweet us at @officialBHC, @officialBHC. Doesn't have to be a Beeston player, could be a Brooklands player. Who stood out for you? Also, Robert Turner gets an honourable mention as well. So does he stand out for you? So let us know. Tweet us at @officialBHC. We will let you know in due course who wins that award.
I think the game's bypassed the midfield a bit today, and it has been end to end. It's made for an interesting game, quite exciting to watch, and 4 goals.
Indeed, we've seen quite a few aerials. I think I've seen more aerials in the first quarter than I have done in most of the other games put together.
Yes.
That's a nice
That's
take.
an easy ball through.
And that's good sliding defence work from Kyle Marshall.
Just realised that Adam Dixon's last goal, talk in a minute, is equalled David Griffiths' all-time goal-scoring record of 129 goals.
And whatever happened to him, eh? If you're wondering, David Griffiths, he's currently sat immediately to my right, so it's not there's no slight on him. Yes, so would that give incentive for Adam Dixon to go for another one? Do you
I think it
today?
certainly would. Yes. I think it's great to see Adam here still at Beeston. There's apart from a break he had at Rotterdam, who obviously Beeston had twinned with.
And let's just break off here.
Yeah.
That was a good defensive intervention as well, because Brooklands, there was a player there to tap in.
There was. Still a bit to do for Beeston defensively here.
Indeed, but that's nicely done. Important intervention from Richard Lawrence there. Just got his stick in the way to make sure that the tackle hit the stick and not the wall.
Absolutely. No, I was just going to say Adam was a junior here. Started at Newark and moved to Beeston as a youngster and has been here ever since. So great that he's still scoring goals.
That could have been mopped up and it wasn't, and it's been given to Brooklands. Brooklands, there's a little bit of green space for Brooklands. Aerial ball towards the circle. That's a good touch in defence.
Yeah, Carl did well on bringing that down, but then and he's won it back again. So
yes,
he's,
good skill from
made
him,
up for
determination. And that's a Beeston ball on the sideline as well. Aerial out of defence. Will bounce once, taken down. Nice control to shield it away from the attacker. This has been no means an all Beeston performance.
Not
Brooklands have done very well here, and I think they'll be disappointed not to be coming away with a draw. But on the day, it looks like Adam Dixon has been the difference.
Yeah. I think if I was Beeston's coach now, I'd be pushing hard for a stable middle three to tie this down. I think the back four are having to do a bit of scramble defence. I think it's coming through the midfield maybe too often. And if they can tidy up that middle part of the pitch, that can go a long way to giving you the control for the rest of the game. So do with the centre midfield being in place most of the time. And in possession of the ball, as we find there. Adam likes to rotate out of the centre midfield roles, which creates goal scoring opportunities from flank play. But in certain phases of the game, you need to have your midfield tied down, I think. There he is again.
Straight to the baseline, and the goalkeeper lets that one slide all the way through. Another push for our player of the match, courtesy of Riley Wealth Management. If you'd like to tweet us at @officialBHC, your nominations for player of the match, we'll let you know who wins that in due course. A reminder that Adam Dixon is scored a hat-trick today of penalty corners, maybe in your thoughts.
Just watching Joe Sharp there, just playing from left midfield, trying to just organise that middle three. So he's obviously thought that through.
Dixon again, he's had a terrific game today.
You can see his fitness levels. He's just run and run, but doesn't look tired particularly. So the time he spends with his training and prep just pays dividends.
Yes, I'm trying to find another word that's like belief. But if you can think of that word as I say the sentence, jump in. It's like the belief has started to seep out of Brooklands in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah. And I think that when we talked about the games that they've lost heavily, I think that happens when you're up against it and there's lots of goals being scored. It's not such a scoreline yet, but could be.
The sharpness of the attack, which was there at the start of the game, now the rub of the green is going with Beeston every time. So the bounces aren't favouring Beeston. But there's still plenty of time. The game's absolutely not over yet. There's 7 minutes to play, and there's only 2 goals the difference. Not writing Brooklands out of this yet.
No. And you can't fault Rayton's Chris Proctor defending there, and he's been playing on the forward line for most of the game. You've Adam Dixon all over the place. Joe Sharp trying to marshal that midfield, so that you have to have that enthusiasm even at this phase of the game.
Kerr's ball again doesn't stick, and Beeston have possession out of defence.
Yeah, game management becomes important 7 or 8 minutes out. It's you don't want anything silly. Goal difference is important. We've talked already about Beeston's goals against overall being good.
Indeed, today will help. A quick look back in history. So earlier in the season, we've mentioned already Brooklands 2, Beeston 1. What happened last season? Well, it was a 1-1 draw here in February. Chris Proctor with a penalty corner, equalising the penalty stroke. David Flanagan right at the end, so no goals in open play. In fact, we have to go back to 2-3 at Brooklands on the 20th of October 2018 for the last goal from open play.
Right.
David Flanagan open play 46, Peter Flanagan penalty corner 59, Beeston Nick Park open play, Elliot Heibel open play, Richard Lawrence penalty corner. So open play goals, bit of a rarity.
Yeah.
Fixture.
Yes.
Looking at the calendar as well, what's next? Beeston travel to Reading next Sunday. 2:30 pushback. That's a very important game. Reading not on a great run. Beeston on what's turning into a bit of a roll at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. I think they struggled with the start. Beeston struggled with the start of the season. They've settled. They wanted to get something out of Reading, but looked at Reading's score yesterday against Old Georgians 4-4. So there's still some fight there as well.
Absolutely is. And the final fixture for the Bees this side of the new year is the cup game against City of Peterborough. That's on the 14th of December here at Nottingham Hockey Centre. That's the 14th of December. Don't forget there is a cup game, so yes, do come along for that. Brooklands, they are away, they're home to Hampstead of Westminster on the 8th of December, then away to Bowden in the cup on the 14th, and then then that's Christmas, 16th of February, get going again. Holcombe, Brooklands. So just what you need next week, Hampstead,
yes.
Westminster. Just a nice relaxing fixture against the champions.
Yes. And then they will have a right ding-dong against Bowden, because obviously arch enemies in Manchester, Brooklands, Bowden. Bowden currently doing very well in the Division 1 North.
Indeed, Bowden were unlucky to not get promoted this season. They're up against Old Georgians, as well as Exeter University in the playoffs too.
Yes.
Oxted were the other team making their numbers up.
And I was just looking at the leagues there. Oxted doing very well again this season.
Yes, Bowden were probably one of the favourites if Old Georgians weren't there.
Yes.
But they just not quite their time. Anyway, back to matters at hand here.
Ollie Willard's on the ball, just working his way out. perhaps doesn't look it on the screen, but it is actually very cold outside at the moment.
Indeed. We are aware of the match being abandoned yesterday in the women's fixture, which was Holcombe Buckingham, and you were saying due to the conditions on the surface. I thought it may be due to fog, but we've got no fog here.
No.
It's a blistering sunset in the distance, which is not good at all for me looking out of the window. You can see it just in your screen now. But the pitch looks still playable, so we should get a result here. That's nice work keeping it in from Lucas Ward. Ward, can he chip it a ball in? He can. It's still live. That should be a Brooklands ball, and it is. Time, and I think we're going to see a card
Yeah,
here.
possibly, yeah. That's
Green card for number 12, Alex Blumfield.
Yes.
So he will only play the remaining 40 seconds of the game as we get to an end. So Beeston down to 10 players. A little bit unnecessary, that.
I think so, yeah. I was just going to Lucas Ward's attempt to trap the ball. He made life difficult for himself. As Aidan Cares
slaps the ball towards the goal, and that's going to be a long corner. Demanding the ball into the circle. Penalty corner. And all of a sudden, that green card looks a little bit costly.
Yes, it does. How many times do you see that? A player picks up a card and the next thing, it gives an advantage of some sort to the opposition, not just the loss of a player, but the fact that they can win something out of it. And here, Brooklands have picked up a corner.
Quick thinking as well from James Sutcliffe to get things moving. Didn't hesitate.
It is interesting how disruptive that sort of thing becomes. You know, it's something as relatively simple as a green card, and all of a sudden you're trying to readjust who's playing where and how you shape, and it presents that opportunity. Now, if this were to be a goal for Brooklands, it'd be very interesting, but the time's ticking away.
Indeed. Collection of 5 players just on the edge of the circle, 2 further back. So number 16 is Peter Flanagan, who's already scored. 13 is Eddie Way. They're the 2 likely strikers of the ball. It's likely going to be trapped by number 7.
I think Brooklands feeling the time should be stopped here, but it hasn't been as far as I can see.
No, we're still rolling. It's gone to the left. Brooklands wanting a repeat penalty corner, and I think they've got it. In fact, they're certainly got it.
Yeah.
What do they claimed it for? Let's have a look.
Hit the one runner.
Yes, indeed. Nice little jump out of the way, like it never hurt at all. Henry Croft.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Henry, young lad trying to find his way. That's one of the ways of doing it.
Never hurt.
Nothing
It's
hurts
all
you.
good. It's all good. And there's a little shuffle to the left there. Things are opening up. A little variation. That's another decent stop from Simon Hujwan. It's still live in a circle. We've got around about 10 seconds left. Just push the ball down the other end if you're a Beeston player. And I think that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Elliot Barton.
Whistle goes in full flow.
And that is it. 3 points on the board for Beeston. 3 goals in the net for Beeston's captain, Adam Dixon. And 3 converted penalty corners for him. And he's equalled the goal-scoring record for Beeston today. So all-round good day for him. Brooklands taking the lead right at the end of the first half through Peter Flanagan. And Adam Dixon turning things around with 2 goals in the 3 minutes, actually, it says there, in the 3rd quarter, and then in the 4th with that 3rd goal. So terrific stuff. Looks like we've got some new stats that we can play with here as well. So what we've got is 3 goals from penalty corners from Beeston. No goals from Brooklands Manchester University according to the stats. So it looks like the stats are still being worked on over there. But yes, that's the story of the game. So right at the end of the first half, Peter Flanagan. So next up for BeeTV, we're back next time. It's Saturday the 7th. The women are playing Surbiton here at 2 o'clock, so we'll be on air for that. What a beautiful sunset, as mentioned, to close the show as well. Thank you very much to Gareth Griffiths. Thank you very much, Steve Musson.
Pleasure.
And from the Andy Day signing off, it's been a pleasure keeping you company. We'll see you next time on BeeTV. Good shielding and maintaining possession, Beeston. And that's a good forward ball, and that's been taken nicely into the circle. And just nudged out. I think that was number 10, Nick Park, who was in a good position there. And 3 penalty corners converted against Exeter University, and 2 against East Grinstead in their 2 most recent wins. So they are starting to find a bit of form in the set piece. Brooklands have popped the ball up, and it's gone beyond the upright. And that was a close thing.
Yeah, this is the dangerous thing, the bit that Beeston
Control of the ball, although that's been mopped up by Beeston's 23, Matthew Cruikshanks, at the expense of a sideline ball for Brooklands. Brooklands going on the air. It's been controlled in the circle, and that is the first penalty corner of the game, and it's gone the way of the away side. 2 penalty corners to his name. He's to the extreme right of your picture. Interesting setup they've gone for here.
Well, Simon Hudran's made a couple of very good saves, particularly last week against East Grinstead from corners, and he's going to need to be on his mettle here.
It's trapped away with the shot, and Hudran with a terrific save to block that. Attempted 3D skills don't come off, and Beeston with Chris Proctor take the ball out of defence, and he's going hell for leather over halfway with the ball. And that's a nice pass outside. Will he rejoin? He is in the middle and slides it under the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper meets it. Robert Turner doing great. Player on the floor, David Flanagan, in the circle there, looking for the looking towards the umpire. Another important connection there. Brooklands have the ball, and they're in the circle. Play on, says the umpire. No, penalty corner.
No, they're not. That's remember Mark Gleghorn, like the running number 1. Ben Arnold at Wimbledon, he was good at it. And you've got to have a lot of confidence in your own speed.
Here we go. It's way, and that is in it. That is it. It's Brooklands who have the lead at half-time.
Deep.
Gone all the way down and then into the circle. It is loose. Can this be converted into a shooting opportunity? It's popped up, and that is a penalty corner for Beeston. Video gantry there behind there, enjoying the penalty corner music. I'm sure you'd be overjoyed to watch this one back on
They may just be trying to keep warm.
Dixon towards goal, and that's the equalising goal. Adam Dixon's Beeston captain.
The plays and restarts.
Responsibility of being a GB captain as well.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here. It is Dixon again. Lays it off, and this time receives the ball, and that's a good defensive effort. That's a flick save as well. It's all going on there.
Yes, I was going to say, I thought they're
getting it right at the right time. So, penalty corner number 3 in relatively quick succession for the home side. We're at 1-1. Clock stopped at 45 minutes. This time it's power, and that time it is into the back of the net. Adam Dixon is celebrating, and I'm sure that's his second goal. Trapping on it is immense. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Brooklands, though, looking to counter and looking to get back level relatively quickly. They have a free hit into the circle, and that is a penalty corner. Now, bearing in mind that they were successful.
As Steve was saying, he's a nuisance to the opposition, and you need that sort of player.
So, hat-trick of penalty corners on offer for Adam Dixon. He's going for it, and he has it!
Well, he's getting very greedy today, Andy, I think.
You're putting that out of mind. Cool. That's cool. That's line, isn't it?